Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Be a Better You podcast. I am your host, Allison K. Dagny. Now, the point of today's episode is setting intentions for a year of emotional healing. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my personal intention and what I'm going to do. Recently, I decided to start a physical wellness journey, and part of my intention is to be more physically healthy. That includes, what I'm putting into my body, my exercise, all of that. And during COVID, I wasn't going to the gym anymore, and I'd really stopped working out, which was probably not a good idea now that I look back on it, because maybe that would have been more helpful for my immune system to continue working out. But at that time, like a lot of other people, I was really afraid of this unknown virus back in 2020, and I was taking my precautions. So now fast forward, we're about 5 years later and a few extra pounds, which is fine. But I decided that I was kind of slipping into bad habits, and I wanted to hire a nutritionist, a fitness expert to help me get back on track. So you might be wondering, okay, well, what does this have to do with emotional healing? Well, for me, I decided that 2025, I'm going to lead with intention. Like, that's actually the word of the year for me, is intention, to lean on. And I set my intention on being intentional, right? And to me, that also means not just doing things just to do them. That's what that means for me. It's that if I'm going to do anything, right? If I'm going to exercise, if I'm going to write something, if I'm going to have a conversation with someone, that it is with intention. So what does that mean? It has to have a deliberate reason or a motive behind it. And, since everything impacts your emotional well-being, this seemed like a great idea to me personally to do this physical wellness journey and lead with intention about everything that I'm doing. So in today's episode, I am going to help you set your intentions for 2025 for whatever that might be for you and your emotional healing. So, for example, like if I was going to meditate and, I decide, okay, I'm going to do a 20-minute meditation. I'm not just going to meditate just to meditate. I'm going to do it because there's a reason for it. Maybe that intention for me is that I want to relax, right? I just want to get into the deepest state of relaxation that I can. Maybe it is to connect with my higher self. Maybe I want to foster gratitude or abundance or something like that, right? So it's not just going to be, I'm going to put some AirPods in, I'm just going to meditate. No, for me, it has to be deliberately conscious, and there's a reason for everything I do. So that's my personal intention. Now, yours is going to be different. Yours isn't going to be the same as mine unless you decide that you like to do that too. But as we go through this, I'm going to help you figure out what your personal intention might be, because sometimes we're like, I don't know. I can remember in the past years, like thinking about, well, what do I want to do? And what do I want that intention to be? I mean, there's so many things it could be. So maybe you know right away, maybe you already know, but either way, we're going to go through that. So I have to tell you about this physical wellness journey. And at this point in my life doing this, I am literally scared to death to start this health journey. I'm supposed to start really soon. And my trainer is a former military veteran. So she is very regimented and very consistent and very committed, not only to her physical health, but to her mental health too. And when I first found her on Instagram, I was watching her reels and her stories, and I was, really intimidated, just to be honest. And then when I finally decided I was going to work with her, and I got all my new client onboarding stuff, I was even more scared. And I was thinking, what the heck did I just sign up for? What did I get myself into? Can I even do this? What if I fail? What if I can't be consistent? All these things were going through my head. But here's the thing. If you've listened to this podcast before, and I know those are limiting beliefs, right? All those things that I just rattled off. And once I shifted out of those limiting thoughts, then I was able to see clearly, because the fear was what was in the way. The fear was being created by all these other beliefs. So the fear started to dissolve. And I know now that this is going to be a challenge, of course, but it's also going to be a transformation, not only in my physical health, but in my mental health too. And you've heard the phrase before, mind over matter. And if you've ever done anything physical and you've pushed yourself through, like I have, pushed through the pain, pushed through the discomfort, if you've ever done that before, using your mind, you understand what this means. Like telling yourself, oh, I can run a little bit further, or I can hold a plank for 10 more seconds, right? I could do one more rep, or whatever that might be. So that's the mind over matter idea. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity, this new physical wellness journey. I'm looking at this as an opportunity to become more disciplined and more consistent and more committed, just like my coach, about my own physical health, right? Which in turn, I know is also going to positively impact my mental health, and I'm going to benefit from that too. So this episode is not about telling you to start a workout plan or to get healthy or anything like that, right? But maybe you already have an intention to do that, which is great. I truly believe in, taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit on all levels. And that's part of why I decided to do this year. So what this episode is going to be about is helping you understand your personal intention so that you can have a full year in 2025 of your own emotional healing, because that's what this podcast is all about, to help you be the best version of you that you can. So, when someone messes up or hurts your feelings or does something that negatively impacts you, maybe it was even an accident, right? And they say, oh, well, that wasn't my intention, or I never meant to do that, or I never intended for that, right? Well, that doesn't really make us feel any better, does it? Because the results are the same, regardless of what was intended, right? So you might give them a little bit of grace, like, okay, well, I know you didn't mean to do it, but like the results are still the same, right? So the key here with intentions is to really be mindful and deliberate about what you're intending and not treat the actions as afterthoughts. No, we need forethought, right? Thinking before. And that's where intention is really born. So if we're not thinking about the intentions in advance, then they just become afterthoughts. And that's where things like that happen, where you're like, oh, I didn't really intend for that to happen, or I didn't really mean it, right? And so we can't just go about our lives with these kind of lackadaisical attitudes about the things that we do, which is why I have chosen intention for my year of 2025, because I want to do everything intentionally. I want to choose what I'm going to do, and I'm going to choose why I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put this at the forefront of my mind for the entire year. That's my goal. Now, yours is going to probably be something different, but the intention still needs to be behind whatever you're deciding, and we're going to go through, I'll give you some examples. So if you want to become healthier emotionally, then the first thing you'll need to do is create your personal intention, and here's how you do this. So if you have a pen and paper, go ahead and grab that and you can write it down, or you can come back and listen to this if like you're driving or on a walk or something. So what you really want to do first is ask yourself this question: what do I want? Now, this is important. This needs to be a self-focused answer, okay? It shouldn't be something like, well, I just really want other people to change, or I just want other people to be nice to me. No. What do you want? Has to be self-focused. So something like, I want more peace, I want more freedom, I want more joy or abundance, or to be present, or to be committed, or in my case, to be intentional. Like whatever it is that you get to choose, right? It is your decision, but it can't be outer focus. It has to be inner focused. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you want to ask yourself, why do I want it? And don't judge yourself on this answer. Whatever you say is fine. Like, it's okay. This is your word of the year. This is your intention to lead with. So there is no judgment. Okay, you don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to tell anybody about it. This is just what is happening inside of you for your own emotional healing, for you to move forward with your journey. Okay, the next question is, what is the benefit to me? And write down as many benefits as you can think of. What is the benefit? If I'm leading with intention, what is the benefit to me? What benefits am I getting from doing this? Better relationships with the people that I love, more deliberate communication, more discipline, more commitments. Like, I can't really find anything negative about leading with intention for myself for this one. So let's say you chose abundance, right? Or money. Maybe you want to have more money. That's fine too, right? There is no judgment here. What is the benefit to you? You're going to get your bills paid on time more. You're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. You're going to be able to buy something for yourself that you've been wanting for a really long time, right? It doesn't matter. You get to choose. There's nobody judging you. The other thing is, what is the benefit to others around me, right? So other people are going to benefit from my 2025 intention. Other people are going to benefit from yours. Let's say you choose joy. If you choose to lead with joy and lean on that for 2025 for your emotional healing, how's that going to benefit other people? Other people are going to be more joyful because you're joyful, right? Other people are going to have more fun when they're around you. Other people are going to experience and learn from you because of what you're doing, okay? So what do I want? Self-focused. Why do I want it? No judgment. What is the benefit to me? All the benefits. And what is the benefit to others around me? And write that down too, okay? The last thing, and this is the important one, most important one probably, is how will I achieve it? And this is important because it's not just an afterthought, right? If you don't have a plan, the how, like how are you going to achieve this? Then it's basically just like dust in the wind, okay? You're just like thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to be more joyful, right? But you don't have a plan to do it. You've got to have a plan, okay? So let's use the joy example. If I intend to bring more joy into my life, okay? Let's say I've answered all these questions and joy is what is. I intend to bring more joy into my life in 2025. Why do I want it? Because I deserve to be happy, and that's a good enough reason. And 3, what is the benefit to me? And 4, what is the benefit to others? Okay, and this will help me attract more positive people and more positive experiences and bring joy to others in my presence, right? So this is a really good help my children be happy, whatever, right? You can fill in the blanks. But 5 is, I intend to do it by, and here you'll want to list a bunch of bullet points, right? By watching uplifting, joyful shows on TV, by only following positive accounts on social media, maybe by setting boundaries with people who are negative all the time, right? Like if you're trying to bring more joy into your life, you may have to set boundaries with people who are being negative and try to drag you down. By seeking out more joyful experiences, right? Like maybe you want to do things that actually bring you joy and identify those things. Adventures, if you like to read books, if you like to play with puppies, like I don't really care, like whatever it is that brings you more joy, right? And what you're doing then is you're creating the how. How are you going to create this intention, right? Because the intention is in your mind, but how are you going to create it? So then what you would want to do is go back into your calendar, wherever you keep your notes, things that you want to do, and put something on your calendar for like a monthly event that you're going to go do something. Or maybe it's in the morning, you're going to journal about it just to kind of keep your mind fresh. Maybe you put sticky notes around your house just to kind of remind you about joy, like smile, joy, happy, whatever. Put those things to help you, right? So you get the idea here. And you can do this with anything, right? Anything that you want for 2025. And there's no judgment. Like I said before, if you want more money, do the same exercise, right? If you want more love or a new relationship, do this exercise for that. You get to choose, and there is no judgment. So all we're doing here is getting really clear on what you want to bring more of into your life for your emotional healing. And when my clients and I are working together, we're always starting with this vision, right? We're creating this vision together so that they're really clear about what their intention is for their emotional healing. But I also am right there alongside them with this clear picture of it too, because I'm guiding them towards it, right? I've got to know what that intention is as well. So this is literally the first thing we do in my one-on-one program is establish those intentions and that vision, because without it, it's like traveling without a map. And if you've ever traveled anywhere, you know that the quickest way to your destination is going to be with a clearly identified destination, right? If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? And a good map is going to be key too, right? So you've kind of outlined in the how you're going to get there. And if you're a client of mine, right, a guide to keep you on the road so you don't get sidetracked or lost along the way. That is what someone like me does for you to help you achieve that vision and stay solid with your intention. So my question for you is, what will your intention be for 2025 and how will you get there? Don't forget those other questions in between, because those really help identify what your motives are behind that intention. So I know for me, back to this health journey, this health wellness journey that I'm doing, when I first thought about hiring her as a health coach, I was like it was probably like a year ago. And I kept putting it off out of this fear and these thoughts that kept popping in my head. And I had a lot of excuses of why I wasn't going to start, and it wasn't the right time, and blah, 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 right? But I do realize now that I'd be so much further ahead if I had just started back then, if I hadn't let those things kind of get in my way. So if you need support on your journey to emotional healing, there truly is no time like the present, and I have multiple options to help you get started. If you've been on my website at radiateandrise.com, it's radiate, the letter N, rise.com. I have freebies on there like meditations and ways to reprogram your subconscious. I have deconditioning workbooks. I also have a $15 online training that's self-paced that you can break free from rumination with that training, and another course for building your own personal feelings of self-worth. So there's also a membership community. And of course, I have my one-on-one coaching available to you if you're interested in that. But the reason I'm telling you about this is because sometimes we don't know where to start, right? You're listening to this podcast and hopefully you are taking lots of notes and putting these things into practice. But if you don't know where to start, just go to my website and look around at www.radiateandrise.com, or you can DM me in Instagram or Facebook and tell me your situation. Like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through. What do you recommend? And I will give you a recommendation. I'll tell you where I think would be a good place for you to start. I'm not going to try to push you into anything or sell you anything. That's just not my style, because for years I was constantly being pushed and coerced by my abuser, and that's just not me. So I'm just going to give you the information and you do with it whatever you want. But emotional healing shouldn't be difficult, right? Especially not in the beginning, right? If you are really struggling, then it's going to be hard to even just take the first step. So that's why I have so many varied options for you to explore at a lot of different price points, some free, some, bigger investments, and some in the middle. So I hope that you will truly consider your personal intention for 2025 and really give it some thought and answer the questions that I posed in this episode. And that way you can lead with a really clear goal in mind, right? Like, what do you really want for yourself for the year of 2025? And you may want a lot of things. Maybe there's many, many things you all want, this and this and this, and that's great. And you can do that. But I do find that one kind of overlying intention is easier to manage than having like 5 different things happening all at one time, and gives us a little bit more direction in where we're headed. So I'd love to hear yours if you'd want to share. Again, mine is intention. Like, I just want to lead with intention for everything that I do and be very, very intentional. But yours is going to be something different, likely, and I would love to hear about it. So you can message me over in Instagram or Facebook, or you can email me or drop it in the chat here. There's a option to text directly in the podcast, so you can do that as well. Just leave your name, because if you don't leave your name, I won't know who it is or who it's from, because it doesn't include that. It's just like a number by you. So I really hope this episode has been helpful to you to get you started on your personal intention, putting that in the forefront of your mind so that you have a clear destination about where you are headed for next year. Starting the new year is always something that people want to do, New Year's resolutions, and I love those things. I think that they're wonderful because they really help us to guide us in the direction that we want to go for improving our lives and being the best version of ourselves that we can. But if you need support or you need somebody to help you stay on track, then you can always reach out to me, and I would be happy to support you along your journey. So wish me luck as I go into this new healing, health, wellness journey for my physical body. I am a little bit nervous about it, but I do know it's going to be an opportunity to be an even better version of myself. And I would not be a good role model or any sort of person to look towards if I didn't lead by example. So I'm going to keep on plugging away and keep on doing the things that I want to do to make myself the best version of me. And I encourage you to do the same. Thanks for being here. And I will talk to you in 2025. Happy New Year.